There is growing outrage today over the death of a nearly blind father who was dropped off by Border Patrol agents miles away from home and in the cold. Miral Amin Shah Alam was a Burmese refugee. His attorney says he was not only nearly blind, but spoke virtually no English. He had been reported missing by his family and then found dead a few miles away from where he'd been released after a 5-day search. His family says no one ever notified them that he'd been dropped off. I want to bring in the reporter who broke that story, J. Dale Shoemaker of the Investigative Post. Also with us, Eddie Glaude, Princeton University professor and an MS Now political analyst. Dale, I understand the funeral is scheduled for, I guess, less than an hour from now. What can you tell us about the circumstances leading up to his death?
Yeah, so a year ago in February, Mr. Shah Alam was out for a walk in his neighborhood. Now, you mentioned that he is nearly blind, and so he was in need of a walking stick. His attorney told me that he was able to make his way down the street to a shop where he purchased a curtain rod. The weather then, this is February in Buffalo in 2025, the weather then turned bad and he got lost in the neighborhood. He ends up wandering into the backyard of a stranger, of a woman's house. Her dog is let loose. He's found in the backyard. I actually, just before I got on this program here, I was watching the police body camera footage from that incident. That shows the officers arriving to the scene, having a confrontation with him, tasering him, beating him, and eventually arresting him. Now, he is taken to the Erie County Holding Center, our local jail, and he is then held there for a year. His attorney told me that he advised the family that bailing him out immediately was not necessarily advisable because ICE had lodged an immigration detainer against him. Had they bailed him out last year, ICE might have taken custody of him on the assault charges that were filed. He got into a struggle with the officers who suffered minor injuries. That could have resulted in him being detained out of state or possibly even deported. So they left him in the holding center where his family could visit him at least. And eventually, earlier this year, the district attorney agreed to plea down the charges. Mr. Shah Alam eventually pled guilty to 1 count of trespassing and 1 count of misdemeanor possession of his curtain rod that he had in his hand. At that point, the sheriff's office calls Border Patrol agents. This is the part that is confusing. People aren't sure why they called Border Patrol, if it was that agency that had the detainer or if it was ICE. Our information leads us to believe that it was ICE who had the detainer, but in any event, the sheriff's office called Border Patrol. Border Patrol picks him up, realizes that ICE is not going to take custody of him, and in a statement, they said that they decided to give him a quote-unquote courtesy ride. That courtesy ride ended at a Tim Hortons in the Riverside Black Rock neighborhood of Buffalo. He was dropped off there shortly after 8 p.m. Last Thursday, and he was left to wander. The attorneys who I've spoken to who represented the man, they say that they were not notified, and then neither was the family. He then wandered the city for several days, and he was found dead downtown near the Buffalo Sabres hockey arena Wednesday evening.
Eddie, I want to start with what we know of the facts. And as a matter of common sense, is it fair to wonder how a man who speaks almost no English and could, in Border Patrol's words, show no signs of disabilities requiring special assistance, how does he accept a ride to a coffee shop?
Well, it strains believability, right, Chris? This entire scenario kind of reveals what happens when you dehumanize people. It's a combination of cruelty and, to my mind, evil. So you have the initial kind of account of the police, the way in which he was treated and then indicted and jailed. And now you have the Border Patrol. And so you have 2 instances of a human being being treated as less than human. And so I think it's important for us to dive even deeper into the details because we get a sense of what happens or what follows from the dehumanization of those that we take to be undocumented and the like, Chris.
The Buffalo Police Department had stopped looking, as we just heard from Dale, for Shah Amin because they believed he was in ICE custody. But instead, Eddie, his is one of countless stories, frankly. We have heard from people directly, from their lawyers, from their families, of folks taken into custody and then released, and in some cases abandoned far from home without notification to anybody else in their family, anyone close to them. How does this keep happening in an administration that touts Christian values and after the president himself promised a softer touch?
Well, the president's promise means nothing to us. We should at least know that he doesn't really tell the truth in a serious way. You asked such a powerful question, as you always do, Chris. What does it mean to hold certain Christian values, to proclaim a certain set of religious commitments, and to be okay or silent in the face of this sort of behavior, these sorts of actions done in your name? It seems to me more than anything, it reveals the hypocrisy, the emptiness of one's commitments. And again, part of what we're dealing with here is what happens when you dehumanize a population, when there's a policy that basically sets the stage for the treatment of other human beings as if they have no standing, as if they have no dignity. And again, I want us to kind of understand the through line. Think about, he was arrested with a weapon, which was a curtain rod, so that he could actually move about. That was the weapon. And how that particular form of policing then carries over in an exaggerated way, in the very way in which ICE and the Border Patrol police those that they take to be less than human, right? It is, to use religious language, Chris, it's evil. It's evil wrapped up in cruelty, and it's done in our name. And it seems to me we have to ask the question, where do we stand in relation to this behavior?
I want to go back, Dale, to the statement that we did get from Border Patrol, who says agents offered him a courtesy ride, which he chose to accept, to a coffee shop, determined to be a warm, safe location near his last known address. Rather than be released directly from the Border Patrol station, he showed no signs of distress, mobility issues, or disabilities requiring special assistance. But as I understand it, there is now a police investigation. What can you tell us about that and the reaction in the community?
Yeah, Buffalo Mayor Sean Ryan this morning said that he is ordering the Buffalo Police Department, at least under his purview, to put together a timeline of the Buffalo Police's interactions with this man from the arrest last year to finding his body this week. And he said that we will be transparent. We will release all those reports. At the federal level, you've got members of Congress today and last night calling for investigations into this. Senator Chuck Schumer, Representative Tim Kennedy of Buffalo, Representative Grace Meng of Queens, and other leaders are all calling for federal investigations. And Mayor Sean Ryan said that he, too, is going to write to the U.S. Attorney General and to the FBI and ask them to investigate this issue as well.
There are lots of great details in your reporting, Dale Shoemaker. Thank you so much for sharing them with us. And always, Eddie Glaude, thank you for being with us as well.